Look what I just finished up. This stocking is called Cruising Santa by Bucilla. And look at Santa, I think he got a new look and a new ride. I'm guessing those shades were Rudolph's idea, and who knew Santa was into motorcycles? Anyway, my husband absolutely loves this stocking, and I'm so happy that I made it. I believe it is currently out of stock on MerryStockings, but don't worry, I hear it's coming back this summer, 2021. So stick around, learn some tips and tricks on how to make it, and let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to Stitch and Bear Time. My name is Leslie and I like to work on Bucilla kits and make quilts and just do a lot of sewing things. Sewing's kind of like my addiction and I love to share what I make with all of you out there. So I lately just finished the kit right next to me called Cruising Santa by Bucilla. I made this for my husband. He had his heart set on it. I kept trying to throw different types of stockings at him, like a cowboy one and a lumberjack one. He was not biting. He wanted this one. So not the type of kit I would usually choose to make, but I'm actually really glad that I did because it turned out really good. This kit was released in 2007. It has 108 pieces, at least that's what the instructions say. But once I got started and I realized that all these little leaves and all these little black squares had the same number, I realized it's actually more like 160 pieces that are in this kit. So a little misleading there. So definitely a bigger kit than what I thought, but it was still a lot of fun to make. There were a lot of different types of pieces to work on, so I didn't really get bored until I hit the leaves, but that's a whole other thing, the leaves. We'll talk about that later. There are different types of stitches in this kit. The applique stitch, there's an outline stitch, running stitch, straight stitch, and then some more complicated stitch for some people would be the chain stitch, French knots. Not everybody loves French knots. Those are in here. And then there's also the satin stitch, which I know a lot of people aren't super big fans of, but not too much of that, I will say. Just right here in the nose, just coming to mind, and also on Santa's face. Let's start by going over how this kit gets put together. I did take a few pictures as I was sewing when I could remember to do it. But just starting off, the whole stocking has one big back piece to it, piece number one, which I like when it's like that because then you're not sewing different pieces to make the shape of the stocking. So I always like when it's just one big piece like that. So the way you're going to put this together, you start off from the top. You make this checkered board look up at the top, and then you're going to move down to this area right here. So the antlers, the Rudolph reindeer, I feel like he's Rudolph, he got a red nose, right? The reindeer, you're going to work on the tree, and then the present, and the teddy bear, and the candy cane. So once that section's made, that's when you're going to put on the bag. And you really want to make that bag pretty stuffed, so it looks like there's a bunch of toys in there. From there, you're going to move on to the motorcycle, and you're starting in the middle of the motorcycle, and then you're actually going to be moving back and forth between the motorcycle and Santa, and that's just how the instructions tell you to put together. His face is very easy to do, so if you don't like to do faces, this is actually a good kit for you, so you can kind of practice on something that's not super difficult, a little harder to mess up on. And then once you get most of Santa put together and most of the motorcycle put together, you're then going to work on these really skinny pieces here, which are the handlebars. And then you'll get the headlight put on, do the front of the wheel, and then you'll finish off with some leaves. And when I say some leaves, I mean like 30 some odd leaves. A lot of leaves. Those took me a while. And then of course you'll make the tag and then put on the backing and the hanger and you're good to go. So let's go over some tips and tricks I think you guys need to know in order to put this stocking together. First of all, make sure you have the snowflake sequins in your kit when you get it. I thought I had everything. I usually turn the kit over before I open it and just do a quick check to make sure everything's there. And I saw beads and sequins and thread, and you know, there was the felt and there was the instructions, so I thought I had everything. It wasn't until I opened it up that I realized I didn't actually have the snowflake sequins in this kit. Now, what I could have done is I could have contacted MerryStockings, and they would have sent it to me pretty fast. They have really good customer service. However, I took the opportunity to do some shopping, and I found these really cool snowflakes on Amazon, and I will provide the link in the description box below. But this is what they look like, as you can see on my kit in here. I got a bunch of them. I have like this whole thing left. That's a lot of them left. And it wasn't too expensive. I feel like the price was really reasonable. They are a little heavy, so once I put them on my kit, I did feel like my stocking did get kind of heavy and a little harder to work with, but I got adjusted to it over time. What's nice about these is that any kind of light that is in your room is gonna catch on these snowflakes. So even when the room's pretty dim, that little bit of light, it just shines through those snowflakes, and I love that. So I always see the stocking in the sewing room. I think it's pretty cool, so I actually really like that. All right, let's talk about Chanel sticks. Now, I have mentioned those a few times in the past. They're also called pipe cleaners, but I put Chanel sticks in the antlers. I didn't stuff these like the instructions said to. I put Chanel sticks instead. And then I also put those in the handlebars here. But the handlebars, they were too thick for just Chanel sticks. So I put one Chanel stick in there with stuffing. So I did a combo. And that's how I got the puffy look. It made it really straight. Definitely worth doing that for both of the handlebars. That's what I would recommend. So I also used a lot of metallic thread on this kit, which all that this kit gives you is silver metallic thread to use on different parts of it, but I really wanted to use different colors. So I went onto DMC's website and I got different colored of metallic thread. And I have a whole bag of it. As you can see, I will provide the link in the description box below as well. They had a sale going on. And they might have another one, I'm not sure. Maybe they're trying to get rid of these, I don't know. But I love these. So something to note about this thread is that it's way thicker than what you get in the kits normally. So if I were to unwind, which I already unwound the top of this one a little bit, there's 3 different metallic threads that are wound together to make one. One of these that is unwound, one of these is the size of the metallic thread you get in your kit. So this metallic thread is actually 3 times thicker, which shows up so much better. That shine is beautiful. It's also stronger, which I had a lot of issues with the old metallic thread. It caught really easily on the felt, which this did not for me. The perfect way to use it, I tried different things. So if your instruction says use 2 strands of this color, don't use 2 strands of this because then it gets too thick. Use 1 strand of this metallic thread with 1 strand of normal thread of the same color. And then you can do anything with it. It runs really smoothly through the felt. You still get awesome shine through it. And you can do an outline stitch super easy. So that's what I would recommend. Let's talk about leaves. So in one of my last videos, maybe it was 2 videos ago, I talked about the ornament wreath that's coming out, or has come out at this point, and how I probably wouldn't purchase it because it's too many leaves. Yeah, I think I was right. I don't think I want to do any more leaves. This thing has about 30 leaves to it. And it took me several days because I just could not do more than 5 or 6 at a time. I got so bored with them. But I was committed to finishing this, so I did stick it out. But yeah, I don't think I could do the ornament wreath. But if somebody else wants to do it and then show pictures and videos of it, please do, because it's gorgeous. I don't have the patience. But on this one here, you can see that I had to do embroidery work on each of those leaves. I did add in green metallic thread to this, which the instructions didn't say to do, but I like the effect of it. And the one thing you need to note about this is that you're only attaching part of the leaf to the stocking, and the other part of the leaf is free-flowing. So you can see that it gives this 3D effect, makes it look a little like it's popping out at you, which is great. That's a great look. However, that means that people can see the back of your stitches if they get the right angle, or if they were to just flip it up, right? So make sure the back of your leaf is very clean looking. Your knots are small. You buried the end of your thread into the felt so it's not sticking out. That way it just looks a lot cleaner. Another thing you could do, which costs money and more money, more time, would be to buy green felt and put backings to your leaves. And you could definitely do that. I wanted to be done with the leaves, so I just didn't do that. But always an option. And then it was time to do the lining. And my lining, that fabric, I got it from the Fat Quarter Shop. And I will also provide the link to the Fat Quarter Shop. I love their fabric, well, the collections that they bring in and they sell. And I got this black fabric for the stocking. And I normally wouldn't pick black because, you know, it's not very Christmassy. However, it worked out really well. There were a bunch of snowflakes on it, and I just kind of built off of the top of the stocking, how it had all those black squares. I was like, let's bring that into the middle of the stocking and that lining. And it goes really well. And then it made it feel more like my husband's stocking. Like, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. He would have black lining in there. It's more, I don't know, less cutesy. He's not all about the cutesy stuff, but I tried to make it as manly as possible, right? Even though I added more sparkle to it. But yeah, it worked out really, really well. I'm really happy with how it turned out. All right, let's go ahead and rate this stocking. I like to rate the kits that I do so I can give you guys an idea on how hard it is, you know, based off of my experience. I typically will put my kits into 4 different categories. So there's either, yes, this is perfect for a first timer, like the very first kit you ever do, or this is perfect as your second kit you ever do, or it's an intermediate kit, which would be equivalent to like Patchwork Santa. Or this is an advanced kit. Think Santa's vintage car, that 3D model, or you know, the Christmas Village 3D house. Those are kind of things that I'm thinking of that could be more advanced. This kit, I'm gonna rate it as, this should be your second kit. The reason for it, I think it's good to know how to read the instructions before you get to this one, know how to do an applique stitch, an outline stitch, so you can really play with some metallic thread and do different things. But if you've already opened up your kit and it's your first one, you'll get through it just fine. It just might take you a while. But I think it's a great second time kit. Not too hard at all, just a lot of leaves. I really don't like leaves. But otherwise, I think it's totally fine, easy to do. And I really enjoyed making Santa and the motorcycle. That was a lot of fun. And that's it. Like I said, this kit will be available on MerryStocking this summer 2021. I think they're currently out of stock, but they said it's coming back. It's not retired. So snag it while you can. And one more thing I want to mention before I go is that I know I haven't been around lately, but that's because we got a puppy. So Little Bear now has a little brother. His name is Peekaboo. He's also an Australian Labradoodle. He is now 16 weeks old. He's from the same breeder, but different bloodline. So he kind of has a little different face than what Little Bear did, and he has a different personality. He's funny. He's our little butter roll. He's a chubby wubby, but he's super cute, and him and Little Bear are just the best of friends, which I love. So cool to see them interact with each other. But that's what I've been doing. I wasn't able to sew for like 3 weeks, and you know, that happens. So finally able to sew again, which feels really good. And I can't wait to show you guys more projects that I have lined up that I plan to show on Stitch and Bear Time. So thank you so much for watching. I have more videos that'll be coming out. Just keep an eye out for them. And I'll see you all next time on Stitch and Bear Time. Bye guys.